Various types of traditional games began to be revived and practiced in the beginning of the 20th century. One example is Kok-Boru, a traditional game played on horseback. Kok-Boru is a synthesis of traditional practices, performance, and entertainment. Kok-Boru is a traditional game played by two teams on horseback, where the players try to maneuver with a goat's carcass, or ulak, and score by putting it into the opponent's goal, or taikazan, while riding on their horse companions. Modern games last for 60 minutes, with 3 periods of 20 minutes each. The team scoring the most ulaks into the opponent's taikazan wins. The traditions of Kok-Boru are not forgotten. It is attributed to the people, the practitioners of Kok-Boru, that bear the sport within them, and have transmitted the knowledge and skills from generation to generation of followers and the society as a whole. Depending on the locality and the level at which it is practiced, such heritage is transmitted by the traditional forms and means. My name is Urmat Musaev. I learned to play Kok-Boru from my grandfather and my father. It's our tradition. Before, I played in the villages on holidays, and when I grew up, I began to play in the regional league. My name is Maksim. I started to participate in Kok-Boru games when I was 12. Today, Kok-Boru is a part of my life. To continue the traditions of my ancestors, I feel obliged to preserve and transmit my skills and knowledge to others and my son as well. I perceive it as a tradition. The rules of the game were transmitted to my ancestors, and I am happy to find out that our initiative to popularize it on the international level and include it in the UNESCO list was supported by our people and our government. It is good that associations for traditional games have been emerging, helping to solve common issues for all of us. Kok-Boru players are mostly representatives of the rural culture and able to ride on a horse well from childhood. At the initial stage, trainers teach young players how to remain in the saddle and maneuver while moving quickly, how to use specialized throwing techniques, horse care, and gear use. The most important component of knowledge transfer at the beginning is to inculcate ethical principles and morals into the players. The next stage of the training includes participation and games under the supervision of trainers and mentors. Coaches transmit their knowledge of rules and behavioral norms while playing or observing on horseback. At the amateur level, the specific features, traditional knowledge, and skills related to these elements are also transmitted orally to demonstrate the elements and through regular conversations with experienced Kok-Boru players. They also transmit expertise through participation in country festivals and celebrations for both players and spectators, which spread the perception of the game as a fun, traditional sport and an important topic of cultural knowledge. The growing number of Kok-Boru followers, including the players, coaches, and the general public, support gaming performances at the local level as well as during festive events, which indicates a close cooperation among them, and thus contributing to the continued transfer of knowledge and culture of the game. The horse breeds, the skills, and the players' experiences are very important in the game. It is also important to prevent any risks posed to the horses and the players, which requires special cushioning materials used in the gear. The quality and size of the specialized saddles depend on the size of the horse's back. A player's efficiency depends on the speed of the horse. In modern Kok-Boru games, for the safety of the players and the horses, special equipment and clothing is always used. The quality of the saddle, which should meet the needs of not only the player, but also of the horse, is very important. As for the players, to protect their arms and chest, special clothes are tailored. My occupation is saddle crafting. The Kyrgyz say that even if the saddle is made of silver, it won't be useful if it is not carved properly. If the crafting of the saddle does not take into account the anatomy of the horse, it will suit both a small or a big horse. To tell you about the player's gear, it's produced from a kind of special fabric. Separate elements of the gear are used to protect the players. To protect the chest, the elbows, and the back against a collision with the horse's head. There is also a specially designed knee pad to protect the legs against impacts. And under the boots, there are additional protective shields, also made of felt. To protect the player's head, we use a traditional headgear called a tabete with cushioning made from felt. In cooperation with the players and the private sector, we have developed new models for the goals, which are called Tai Kazan for Kok-Boru. These goals are made of metal materials, covered by soft rubber. Representatives of the National Federation have been campaigning to raise awareness about the importance of appreciation of the significance of Kok-Boru, not only in the context of the local and national culture, but at the international level. We need to explain and safeguard this element of our culture, as we need to pay attention and show respect for other cultures. That is why at the professional level, we use an artificial goat carcass. This game was left for us by our ancestors and embodied in our culture. During the last 20 years, we have carefully selected horses. For instance, there are new breeds, mating the Kyrgyz breeds with English breeds. As a result, the breed is strong and very well suited for Kok-Boru. I received the knowledge of horse breeding and care from my father and my brother, and now my younger brothers are following in my footsteps. Horse breeding may not be practiced by everyone, but only by those who are devoted to horses. The horse will treat you in the same way as you treat it. If you respect it, the horse will do the same. Ensuring the viability of these elements is one of the most important parts of cultural policy for the government of Kyrgyzstan. In this view, state and non-governmental organizations, bearers and practitioners of the intangible cultural heritage are involved in activities to safeguard, transmit, and popularize the sport. Measures to protect such heritage are aimed at ensuring their transmission and protection, and protecting their value and significance against any deterioration. The government is working closely with all concerned communities, academic institutions, the private sector, and international partners to preserve and promote traditional games. The main work we carry out is to research traditional knowledge and practices of the ICH as a whole. Such activities include their documentation. Special attention is given to horse breeding and research as well. In our academy, the chair of national sports was established. Our staff have developed the programs for teachers of traditional games, among which are special materials related to Kok-Boru. We are developing visual training materials to be used in the educational process, and we also use hippodromes for training. Starting in 2014, government institutions have been involved in infrastructure development projects for the cultural sphere, including the construction of a modern hippodrome for horse games. Throughout the ages, the culture and traditions of unity with nature have been transmitted through the power of the spoken word. The traditional Kok-Boru game is one of them. Kok-Boru embodies a unique blend of the spirit and moral values of Kyrgyzstan, and it is a power that may unite the people. Indeed, it is for this pattern the initiative of the bearers of Kok-Boru has been supported by so many people.